Oh my god. I gotta take the whole thing back out of the car.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video. If you are doing the STI swap, please do not skip any part of this video. I'm going to make this as informative as I possibly can. I basically took 4 hours of footage, and rather than break it up into a bunch of videos, I crammed it all into this video. So I'm time-lapsing a bunch of stuff, but I'm going to explain what I'm taking apart, what bolt sizes it is, that sort of thing. So what's going to happen here in 1 second is I am going to play the video now for you that I took. It's basically just a giant time lapse of the entire thing, but it's not so fast that you can't see what's going on. And I'm going to voice over the entire thing. So everything that's happening, I'm going to explain. Every time there's a problem, I'm going to explain it to you. So everything that's going on, you're going to know. So I'm going to be very active in the comments section. If you have any questions about the swap, feel free to message me or leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer it. But yeah, that's it, guys. I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get into the video. So the first thing I'm doing here is removing the slave cylinder, as we'll need this off to remove the transmission. These are two 14mm bolts to pop that sucker off. We're going to need the STI one later on. Here I'm unplugging basically just the little wire harness. It's basically 3 plugs. Just kind of grab it with a flathead, pop it out. You're good to go. Super simple. Now I'm taking the pitch stop off. It's a 14mm bolt and nut, and then a 14mm bolt on the back side that pops right out. Now I'm removing the 10mm bolt that holds the ground wire from the transmission to the frame of the car. Again, just a 10mm bolt, nothing special. Here I'm removing the first 14mm bolt from the bell housing. Now I'm down at the suspension. So I'm basically going under the car now. You can see I removed the brake line, which was a 12mm bolt, and that clip holding the ABS sensor on, and then two 19mm bolts with nuts to disconnect the steering knuckle so that I could get the axle out. Then I took a flathead and basically pushed on the axle until I could reach behind the hub and pull the axle out. You'll see a little time lapse here in a minute where I kind of show you how I did that. But it's literally just as simple as grabbing onto that axle, pulling it with all your might, and then kind of popping it out of the car. So once you have it separated from the hub, you can actually get back there with a pry bar and sort of pry it out of the transmission. So here I am thinking I'm funny. I'm sort of showing you everything. I'm going to end up ripping this wheel off as fast as I can. I time-lapsed it, but I really think this only took about 2 minutes. That hammer is actually going to be used to knock out one of the bolts that gets stuck. So that axle nut is a 32mm, and then the top is a 19mm bolt and nut. The bottom is a 19mm bolt and nut on that strut on the coilover. And then the 12mm that I just took out for the brake line. Here you can see the whole suspension dropped. That's what I needed the hammer for, was to pop that top bolt out. Now you saw I just kind of pulled the axle. Now we're under, all these are 12mm bolts, 4, 1 at each side. Here we are at the drive shaft, taking off all of the drive shaft bolts. If you have the factory drive shaft, I believe they're all 12mm. That just slides right out from the transmission. Now I'm disconnecting the it's basically the secondary part of the downpipe. So before the mid pipe, but after like the initial downpipe. Here we are taking off two 12mm bolts for this dust shield, pulling out the cotter pin and lifting up on that retainer so that we can pop this linkage off. And that just basically pops right out. The top one here, you can see I have some difficulty getting to. So I'm laying under the car. The camera's on the top of the car, kind of showing me trying to pop this thing out. I ended up getting it with this little wrench here. You'll see I just kind of pushed up and it eventually gave up. To be honest with you, I didn't get this linkage off until the transmission was literally on the ground. But if you are doing the STI swap, you can actually remove your shifter and everything as one and take the linkage down altogether. So here you're going to see literally all that's left holding the transmission in after you have done this is these 8mm bell housing bolts. These are all 14mm. I'm sorry, not 8mm. The 8 bell housing bolts, they're all 14mm. So you'll see I'm pointing to the 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. There is the 2 on the bottom and the 2 on the starter. So make sure you keep in mind where these bolts go because they are all specific lengths. And like the starter bolts are a little bit longer and that sort of thing. So you're going to want to put that all back where it came from. So here it is, just a time lapse of me popping those bolts out. Again, all 14 millimeter. The bottom ones are studs with nuts on them. Here is the transmission carrier. What you're looking at is a 17 millimeter bolt holding the transmission carrier in. There's basically one on each side of the transmission carrier towards the front that I'm showing you now. Again, 17 millimeter, and then the rest are 14. So there's two 14 millimeter bolts here on the actual mount, and then 2 bolts there and 2 bolts down here as well, all 14 millimeter, and that's going to drop that entire assembly out of the car. All you have to do is remove those bolts and that whole thing just drops out. So here you'll see me support the transmission with a jack with a wood block so that when I remove this, the transmission doesn't drop on the floor. So now you'll see, again, I'm just kind of pointing out that I have the transmission on the jack with the wood block. And so what I'm going to do is kind of try and wiggle the transmission loose from the engine. It's very hard to do by yourself. I just sort of barely, you can see, broke it open a little bit. The older your car is, the harder it's going to be to separate. And then I went in here with a pry bar, crowbar, and just sort of tried to get some more leverage and push out. This is a very difficult part. Trying to get the transmission to separate from the engine is one of the worst parts of this install, and getting the transmission back together. So you'll see I'm just kind of going side to side here, doing everything I can to try and push that transmission out. And what I ended up doing actually bent the studs on the bottom, so I would not recommend this. I would definitely get somebody to help you. I basically just left all the weight off the jack and basically let the transmission just drop to the floor. Again, be careful of fluid. You might want to drain the transmission before you do this. So I have a drain pan ready. But now we are actually swapping out the slave cylinder. Again, a 14 millimeter banjo bolt for the STI Slave Cylinder. And we are getting that ready. Here you'll see I am lubing up the input shaft. Do not do what I'm doing here. I just put the throwout bearing on backwards. The STI throwout bearing is different than the WRX throwout bearing. Make sure you get the STI throwout bearing. So here I'm taking out the center console. You'll see you just kind of pull up on that boot. There's a Phillips head screw in here as well as 2 in the back underneath the cubby. And they're all just Phillips heads. That shifter just literally pops out. Then you'll see there's 4 12 millimeter bolts on the top of the assembly here. 1 in each corner. You just kind of got to pop those out. It's really not that hard. Then you'll go underneath. These are all 10 millimeters, so 1 in each corner. And then there's a couple holding this plastic in. Once you have that removed, you'll kind of come in. This black clip literally just pulls right off with your hand. This other one has a little like metal retainer clip, like a little metal ring that goes around it. And you kind of have to take a flathead or some sort of pry tool and kind of get underneath that and pop it out. Pretty simple though. And that removed all the shifter linkage from the car. Then you can kind of push up or pull up from inside the car to get the entire shifter assembly out. Here I am thinking I'm funny, looking through the hole. Here is the STI swap. So you can see this is a completely different shifter. The WRX shifter is all this plastic. It's linkage. This is a mechanical shifter directly connected to the transmission. This mount back there, there's already pre-drilled holes to go into your factory frame. I wish I could tell you the size of those. I just used some OEM bolts I had laying around and they fit. I am missing a metal bracket here that typically goes in between that rubber and the frame. Here you see the flywheels. They're pretty different. The WRX flywheel here and the STI flywheel, they are a little bit different. And for some reason, this OEM flywheel did not come with new flywheel bolts, which kind of upset me, but I'm just going to reuse my factory WRX flywheel bolts. So it did come with a new pilot bearing. This is a brand new OEM flywheel. I sprayed it down with some brake and parts cleaner just to get any oils off. Then I get this thing ready. I get it lined up. And I put some blue Loctite on. You can use red Loctite. Some people say red, some people say blue, some people say none. I chose blue. These are going to get torqued to 55 foot-pounds. 55.5 actually, I think is what most people say. And just do it in like a star-shaped crisscross pattern. Here you'll note that I'm looking at the STI Clutch. And the STI pressure plate uses 9 bolts to hold it in, while the WRX only uses 6. This caused me to have to go to Ace Hardware and get a set of 10.9 bolts. They were M8 by 1.25. So here I am lining up the pressure plate and clutch disc, and I'm torquing these down to 27 foot-pounds per ACT's spec. And you'll see I'm kind of going in a crisscross pattern with these as well. Also blue Loctite on these. Here I'm at the back of the car. I'm going to work on the rear. Those are 17 millimeter. so where the strut is and where the steering knuckle is connected. And then I disconnected this part too for the trailing arm. This is really going to kind of move that whole assembly so we can get to the axle and pull that out. So as you see, I literally left the bolt for the strut on. I only took off 2 bolts here, 2 17mm bolts. Up top here, I'm removing both the 17mm bolts holding the diff to the frame, and then both these 17mm bolts holding the differential carrier. So I believe I'm going to get the jack out here in a second and support it, and then remove this carrier, and then I'm going to slowly drop it from the car. As you see, I left the axles in. I did the same thing on the other side, just moved the steering knuckle out of the way and then pulled the axle out. Here you can see the new rear differential is quite a bit beefier than the WRX one here, but the carrier and everything is going to carry over, so you don't need anything special to mount this new rear differential. Unfortunately, I didn't get a time-lapse video of me installing it because my camera died and I didn't feel like taking it back out and putting it back in. So here you can see it is in. That plug you see at the top is the fill plug. You don't need an actual connector for that. Here you can see this is a Torx bit that goes on the transmission. Basically, it's the rod that holds the clutch fork. I could not find a Torx bit big enough in my toolbox or at any hardware store. I believe it's a T70. So I used this little trick where I took a bolt and a nut, and essentially tighten those together, and it ends up spinning and tightening that bolt. Here it is, me writing "please don't explode" on the clutch. Back in here, looking at the transmission, not sure what I was talking about here. Here's the main event. So we are starting to get people to help me get this transmission into the car, and this is very difficult. We literally had 4 or 5 people at one point trying to help me guide this transmission into the car and literally bench press it into the car because sometimes the jacks would be maxed out. Here I am at the top trying to guide it in as they're kind of lifting on the jacks and pushing it. This is definitely not a one-person job. It took, like I said, 3 to 4 people laying under the car and me in the engine bay to get this thing together. So I'm about to make one very brutal mistake here, and that is that throwout bearing is backwards. So I'm going to have to pull this transmission out in a little bit again, and I just, at this moment, did not realize it. So we are putting the transmission back together. You see we spun the crank to make sure that the splines were engaged. Here I am using bolts. This isn't always the best method, but here I am using bolts to essentially just pull the transmission to the engine. If you can push it all the way, you can manhandle it all the way, that would be great to avoid anything happening with those bolts. So here I am looking under the car. You can see I took the STI transmission carrier out. The reason being is that it's actually shaped different. And while you can use this or the WRX transmission carrier, this one hits the exhaust. And so that's kind of a big deal because the exhaust hanger is on a different side on the STI transmission. So it's a pain in the butt. But I use the WRX one. Here you can see the Iwire harness. You can see that it's basically literally plugged in to the WRX harness on the car. And then once you get the harness in the mail, if you buy the Iwire harness, you're definitely going to need this for the install unless you want to be splicing wires. So this just makes it really nice and easy. This empty plug here is for the dccd controller if we ever go that route. But with just this wiring harness, everything's going to work, reverse lights, all that stuff. And, you know, it'll stay in automatic mode, so you won't have to worry about that. So here you can see I'm filling up the transmission with fluids. I think I'm good to go. I believe it takes 4.5 quarts. That's what I put in mine. And this is when I realized that I put the throwout bearing in backwards. So very upset. I put the thing in backwards. I got to take the transmission back out. This time, I left the axles attached. These are the STI Axles. And you can see, make sure you get STI Axles. You don't want to use WRX axles with your STI transmission. You may be able to get away with it, but yeah. So you'll see here the clutch fork is pushed all the way to the front when in reality it should be clipped into the clutch because it is a pull style clutch rather than a push style. So you'll see here I flipped the throwout bearing to the right orientation, and at this point I put a retainer ring on it. So you're going to see me pointing here at the stock throwout bearing at this retainer ring, and I was rushing and I wasn't researching, and so I took that retainer ring off and clipped it onto the throwout bearing, and it in turn ended up not being correct. So that throwout bearing that I just put in with that retainer clip, the ACT clutch has a mono-lock system on it. So you'll see here if I take the OEM throwout bearing with that retainer ring and I put it into the OEM clutch, it will lock into place. Well, I took the retainer ring and put it on the ACT one, and the ACT one has a built-in retainer ring called the monolock. So this one here you can see doesn't have that ring. That's how I should have put it in the car, and I didn't. This in turn broke my ACT throwout bearing, which is, I believe, just an OEM one that comes with the ACT kit. And so I just took this OEM one and ended up installing this to replace the ACT one that broke. So here I am taking the jack stands out. Everything's good to go. I think I'm going to drop this thing on the ground. Fingers crossed that this thing fires up. Oh my God. And that's it, guys. I'll be honest with you. The install really wasn't that bad. The worst part of it, you know, was just the mistakes that I made. So the rear differential, taking that out and putting the new one in was super easy. The drive shaft was super easy. The transmission, everything that connected to the transmission, the bell housing bolts, that was all super easy. If you are mechanically inclined at all, this really isn't a hard swap. These are really easy cars to work on. I know a lot of people are going to ask price. Well, this swap itself was $6,200 after shipping, and then I paid about $1,000 for the clutch. So just be mindful of that. It's a very expensive swap. But besides that, guys, it was really straightforward. I may be missing some things, but I tried to be as thorough as I can. If you want the dccd controller to function, what you have to do is get the Spider kit from Iwire, and basically you can order a third party or order one of their differential controllers for the center diff, or you can use the STI OEM center diff controller, and either way you go, they have options. They basically build it to spec however you want it. So for my situation, I already got the STI center console with the center diff control, and so I'm eventually going to get the Iwire harness. The only issue with that is you using the OEM STI one, you're not going to be able to see where the diff is set to, whether it's on auto or whether it's set to the rear, or if the diff is locked. You will not know without replacing your gauge cluster. And if you replace your gauge cluster, your mileage is going to be off, and Subaru has to reprogram it. Not sure if that costs money. So it's, I think it's probably best to get like a standalone controller that has like a LED display. I believe Iwire sells those, and they're relatively cheap with the kit. So if you're not already following me on Instagram, drop me a follow on Instagram, and if you have a question, send me a message there and I can give you a personalized answer there. Otherwise, leave a comment, leave a question, let me know what you think of the swap. So thank you guys for taking the time. Hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully, you know, it'll help you with your swap if you decide to go that route. And again, I'm here to help anybody, so I'm going to be very active in the comment section. So leave your comments. I'll answer them as best as I can. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again soon.